Hey everyone, it's Emily here, and it's time for monthly recommendations for March. This is a Goodreads group hosted by Kayla and Trina from Between Chapters. I will leave the link for the Goodreads group down below in the doobly-doo, as well as Kayla and Trina's channels, so that way you can join in on all of the fun of monthly recommendations. This month we are talking about our favorite own voices books. So this has been a really big topic in the last year or so of reading more diversely, finding own voices books of marginalized groups, people of color, those in the LGBTQIA plus community, those with disabilities, and so many groups whose voices are not heard. Now, I want to take this time to let you know that, I have been trying to read more diversely the last couple years, and I'm learning, I'm expanding my horizons way more than I was before. But I also know that I haven't been reading as many own voices books as I should be. So even though I'll be reading books that have people of color as the main character, or someone who's LGBTQIA plus as the main character, or disability as the main character, it's not an own voices book. And that's something that I am definitely working on, so I'm sorry if my list is either ones that you're going to be hearing about in everybody's videos, or it's a small list. If I say things that are wrong, or if I mess up, I apologize, and please let me know when I mess up. Come talk to me. My comments are always open, my Twitter is open, let me know, and so that way I can apologize and I can fix the problem, because if I don't know I'm doing something wrong, then I'm not going to learn to fix the problem. So I kind of just want to say all of that before I go on to the rest of the video. So anyway, here we go, my own voices recommendations. So my first one is a book that I read just this year, and already is in the running to being one of my favorite books of the year, and that is Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. Octavia E. Butler is the first African-American woman to have ever published a science fiction fantasy book. It was published in 1979, and holy cow, it is so good. It is about this woman who time travels between the present and the 1800s, pre-Civil War, where she ends up having to help the son of a slave owner. And it's so good. It explores the dynamics of interracial relationship, because she's married to a white man, so it kind of explores that relationship, but then it also explores slavery and racism, and it definitely expresses the horrors of slavery, but it's also not gratuitous, it's not overly graphic, but it still is impactful, so it's really, really well done. And it really explores how people are complex on all sides of the spectrum. Even, you hate the slave owners, and you are angry with them, and you don't excuse their actions, you still somehow have a connection to them, because it shows that people are complex. And then you are with her trying to figure out how to get back to the present day. Anyway, it's excellent. Go read it right now. Then one of my favorite books from last year was Homegoing by Ya Jesse. This is a literary fiction / historical book where it starts in the 1700s in Ghana, and there are these two half-sisters from two different tribes in Ghana. They don't know each other, but it follows their family lines all the way through to the modern day. And so one half-sister ends up marrying a slave owner, and then the other half-sister ends up becoming a slave. And we see the effects of that throughout their generations. And it's so beautifully done. It's so eye-opening, and it just really makes you think about how the actions of the past have affected the present. Then a YA urban fantasy is the Girl at Midnight trilogy by Melissa Gray. Actually, the first two books are currently out. The third one is coming out in July. And this is a really, really fun YA urban fantasy series. The main character is Latina, and the author is also Latina, but the whole book is just full of diverse characters of different races and of different sexual identities, and it's really, really cool. And it's totally, if you really like fangirly type of things and shipping people and fantasy, this is definitely a trilogy for you. I really love it. Then we have another one of my favorite books of last year was If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Espresso. This is about a trans girl who has transitioned from male to female, and she recently has transferred to a new school and is now living with her dad. And it's this classic YA contemporary story about a girl starting a new school, trying to figure it out, trying to make new friends and a new relationship, going to the dance, and just learning how to connect her past with her present and deal with all those issues. It was excellent. The author is also trans. The girl on the cover is trans. Like, and I believe the audiobook is narrated by someone who's trans. So it's really, really awesome, and I really loved this book. It was excellent. Then there is the graphic novel / memoir called Persepolis. Marjorie Satrapi, I believe is how you say her name. And I read 2 volumes. I feel like there's 3 volumes, but I'm not sure. But I read both 2 volumes. And basically this is about a girl from Iran, I want to say. And it's kind of like her remembering her childhood growing up there. And it's really, really well done. The art is very simple, but it's also very powerful, and it's just really, really good. And so if you definitely want like an Own Voices memoir, but you're not really into nonfiction, like this might be a really good pick for you because it's a graphic novel style, and so it's much quicker to get through than a normal memoir would be. Another one of my favorite books is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Allaire Sanchez, and the love I have for this book. It's about these 2 boys in the 80s and their friendship. They are Mexican-American, but then it's also LGBTQIA plus representation, and I love their friendship. I love the story. I love the themes of family and friendship and heritage. Communication. It's just beautiful. It deserves all the awards it has. And the audiobook is narrated by Lin-Manuel Miranda, so you know, that's awesome. And I love this book. I read it like 2 or 3 times now, and I can't get enough of it. And then recently I just finished American Street by Bees Boy, and this is a book about a girl who is an immigrant from Haiti. She and her mom immigrate from Haiti to Detroit, Michigan, but her mom is detained. And so she ends up having to live with her aunt and her cousins without her mom for several months and learning to adjust to American life without her mom. And it is so good, and it is definitely Own Voices because the author is also an immigrant from Haiti. And so, I believe she also lived in Detroit. And it's a great look at immigration and poverty and race, and there is some touch on like the Black Lives Matters movement, and it was one of those books that made me feel really uncomfortable, but I knew I had to sit with being uncomfortable and getting to know this part of immigrant culture, but also American culture that I'm not really comfortable and familiar with. But it was really, really good, and I think it's definitely an important book for people to read. There are a couple of the books on my radar that I just haven't had the chance to get to yet. I recently picked up The Iron Hunt by Marjorie M. Liu, and this is an urban fantasy book that looks really, really awesome. I just haven't had the chance to read it yet, but the premise is awesome, where like she has these tattoos that protect her from demons, and they are demons, but she's a demon hunter, and it just kind of seems really, really awesome. And it's an Own Voices person of color urban fantasy book, which is awesome. And then also, what just came out yesterday or the day before as I'm filming this like March 2nd, was The Hate U Give just came out, and I'm waiting for it to come from my library, but I've heard nothing but good things about this book. So there you have it. Those are my monthly recommendations for Own Voices. Again, I haven't read as many Own Voices books as I would like, and I'm always looking for Own Voices books with people with disabilities, because I don't think I've really read one yet. So please let me know all your recommendations down below in the comments, and if you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you later. Bye.